What if I told you that Sainsbury's is ripping you off? You're spending £615 more per year than if you shopped at Aldi, and those so-called nectar discounts are fake prices where they raise the regular price just before launching the deal. I'm talking about dodgy pricing tactics that Which reported to the Competition and Markets Authority multiple food recalls for Salmonella and E. coli contamination, and allergen labeling failures that could kill you if you have allergies. If you're over 60 and living on a fixed income, this matters enormously. Every pound you waste at Sainsbury's is a pound you can't spend on heating, medications, or helping your grandchildren. In this video, I'm counting down 10 reasons you need to stop shopping at Sainsbury's, from manipulative pricing schemes to dangerous food safety failures. Stay with me, because number 3 involves reduced items that overcharge you at checkout, even though they're labeled as discounted. Number 10. You're paying £615 more than Aldi customers. Which tracked prices throughout 2024 and found that Sainsbury's customers using Nectar cards paid an average of £112.13 for a typical basket of 56 items. The same basket at Aldi costs £100.29. That's an £11.84 difference on a single weekly shop. Multiply that across 52 weeks, and you're paying £615.68 more per year than Aldi shoppers. £615. That's not pocket change. That's months of heating bills. That's your council tax. That's a significant chunk of your pension gone to overpaying for groceries. And remember, that's with a Nectar card. Without one, Sainsbury's was the second most expensive supermarket in the UK, beaten only by Waitrose. You're paying premium prices without getting premium quality. In the Which rankings, Sainsbury's with Nectar card came 4th, behind Aldi, Lidl and Tesco with Club card. Without Nectar, it dropped to 10th place out of 11 supermarkets surveyed. Think about what that means. Sainsbury's knows their non-Nectar prices are astronomical. They're forcing you into their data harvesting loyalty scheme just to get prices that are still worse than discount competitors. For seniors on fixed incomes, £615 annually is devastating money. That could be emergency dental work. That could be helping a grandchild with university expenses. That could be having a financial cushion so you're not panicking every time an unexpected bill arrives. That could be 3 months of groceries if you switch to Aldi. Think about it. You're spending enough extra money at Sainsbury's to buy yourself an additional quarter of a year's worth of food. And here's what makes it worse. Sainsbury's is actively choosing to be this expensive. They're owned by the same parent company structure that runs Argos. They have massive buying power. They negotiate with the same suppliers as Aldi and Lidl. They could match Aldi's prices if they wanted to, but they don't, because they're prioritizing profit margins over customer welfare, especially over seniors who've been loyally shopping there for decades, who remember when Sainsbury's was a respectable British institution that treated customers fairly. The company knows exactly what they're doing. They've done the market research. They know their customers skew older and more affluent than discount supermarkets. They know seniors are creatures of habit who'll keep shopping at familiar stores even when prices climb. They're exploiting your loyalty and your routines to extract maximum profit while giving you minimum value. Number 9. The Nectar pricing scam. Which reported to authorities. Which investigated Sainsbury's Nectar prices and found dodgy tactics that could be breaking consumer protection laws. They analysed 71 products and discovered that 34% had been at their so-called regular price less than half the time over the previous 6 months. Here's how the scam works. Sainsbury's raises the non-Nectar price artificially high, then offers a Nectar discount that brings it down to what should have been the normal price all along. You see the savings claim and think you're getting a deal, but you're not. You're just not being overcharged as badly as non-members. Take a Nescafe Gold Blend Instant Coffee 200-gram jar. Sainsbury's advertised it for £6 with Nectar card, claiming you saved £2.10 from the regular price of £8.10. Sounds great, until you learn that the regular price had been £6 until just 2 days before the Nectar price launched. They artificially inflated it to £8.10 specifically to make the Nectar discount look impressive. And the regular Sainsbury's price was much higher than competitors anyway. At Asda, the same jar costs £7. At Morrison's, £6. At Ocado and Waitrose, £6. At Tesco, £5.99. At Lidl, £5.49. Sainsbury's non-Nectar price of £8.10 was a complete joke, and even the nectar price of £6 wasn't particularly competitive. Which was so concerned about these practices, they referred Sainsbury's to the Competition and Markets Authority for investigation. That's not a casual complaint. That's a major consumer rights organization saying this company might be breaking the law, specifically regulations that prohibit misleading pricing and fake discount claims. The Consumer Protection from Unfair Trading regulations say you can't mislead consumers about prices. You can't create the false impression that a product is cheaper than it actually is by inflating reference prices. Yet that's exactly what Sainsbury's is doing with nectar prices, and they're doing it systematically across thousands of products. For seniors, these fake discounts are particularly insidious because you grew up trusting that supermarkets were honest about pricing. You assume that if something says reduced price or member discount, it's genuinely a better deal than usual. You assume companies follow ethical standards and wouldn't deliberately deceive customers. But Sainsbury's is exploiting that trust, manipulating prices to create the illusion of savings while charging you more than competitors do without any loyalty schemes at all. And when confronted about these practices, Sainsbury's response is always some version of, "We're committed to offering great value." They never address the specific allegations. They never explain why regular prices jumped right before nectar prices launched. They just issue corporate speak and continue the same tactics. Number 8. Reduced items scan at full price because barcodes aren't covered. A money-saving expert forum user documented a systematic problem at Sainsbury's stores across London. Reduced price items still scan at full price at checkout because staff don't cover the original barcodes with the reduced price stickers. This customer visited multiple Sainsbury's locations in Holborn, directly near the CEO's headquarters, and found shelves full of reduced items with exposed original barcodes. They reported it repeatedly to store management, to area managers, to the CEO's office, providing detailed photographic evidence of the problem. Nothing changed. When they tried to film additional evidence of this widespread issue, a duty manager called the police and demanded they stop photographing. The police arrived, assessed the situation, and confirmed the customer had every right to document pricing issues in a public retail space. Sainsbury's response to the CEO complaint? They claimed it was human error due to their large estate and many employees working across hundreds of stores. But it's not human error when it happens constantly across multiple stores for an entire year, despite repeated complaints directly to headquarters. That's either systemic failure or deliberate practice. And customers who don't carefully check every single line on their receipts are paying full price for items clearly marked as reduced, losing money every single shopping trip. The forum user provided example after example with photos and receipts. Items marked 30% off, scanning at regular price. Items marked reduced to clear charging original amounts. Chicken breasts marked down from £7 to £4, scanning at £7. Ready meals reduced from £4.50 to £2, charging £4.50 at checkout. And it's not just one store or one staff member. It's happening at stores across London, in multiple regions, consistently over months. The reduced price stickers are applied to products but placed in ways that don't cover the original barcode, so when scanned at checkout, the till reads the full price barcode and charges accordingly. For seniors especially, this is financial abuse targeting vulnerable customers. You're on a fixed income. You specifically look for reduced items to stretch your budget. You make decisions about what to buy based on those yellow stickers showing 30% off or 50% off. You trust that the price displayed on the sticker is the price you'll pay. But Sainsbury's systems or staff are systematically failing to honour those reductions, effectively stealing money from people who can least afford it. And when caught, they call it human error and promise to do better, but nothing actually changes. The same customer went back weeks later and found the same problem still happening. They reported it again. Still, nothing changed. That tells you everything about Sainsbury's priorities. They don't care enough to fix a problem that's costing vulnerable customers money every single day across their entire store estate. Number 7. Multiple food recalls for Salmonella contamination. Sainsbury's recalled their own brand flaked almonds 150-gram packs in March 2024 because salmonella was found in the product. Not a theoretical risk of salmonella. Not could possibly contain salmonella. Actual salmonella bacteria confirmed present through laboratory testing. Salmonella causes fever, diarrhea, severe abdominal cramps, nausea, vomiting. For most people, symptoms last 4 to 7 days and resolve without medical treatment. But for seniors, for anyone with weakened immune systems, for people with chronic conditions like diabetes or kidney disease, Salmonella infection can be serious enough to require hospitalization. The bacteria can enter your bloodstream, causing bacteremia, which leads to infections in other parts of your body, including bones, joints, and heart valves. And this wasn't Sainsbury's only Salmonella problem. Multiple products have been recalled over the past 2 years for bacterial contamination, showing a pattern of inadequate quality control in their supply chain and testing procedures. Food Standards Agency warnings tell you not to eat these products, to return them immediately for full refunds. But how many people actually see those notices? They're posted in stores on small pieces of paper near entrances or customer service desks. They're published on the FSA website that most people never visit. They're sometimes mentioned in local news if journalists pick up the story. But millions of customers never see any of these notices. How many customers bought the contaminated almonds, took them home, and ate them before the recall was announced? How many people got sick with Salmonella and never connected it to the Sainsbury's almonds they'd eaten days earlier? How many seniors ended up in hospital emergency rooms with severe dehydration and abdominal pain, got treated for food poisoning, but never knew the source was a product that Sainsbury's sold despite it being contaminated? The fact that finished products are reaching store shelves with active Salmonella contamination tells you that testing either isn't happening properly or isn't working effectively. Products should be batch tested before distribution. Random samples should be pulled and cultured for bacteria. Contamination should be caught at the supplier level or in Sainsbury's own quality assurance checks before products ever reach customers. But it's not happening, and you're the one who pays the price with your health and potentially your life. For seniors with compromised immune systems, with reduced stomach acid that normally helps kill bacteria in food, with slower gut motility that gives bacteria more time to colonize, eating Salmonella-contaminated food is genuinely dangerous. What might make a younger person sick for a few days could put you in the hospital for weeks, cause kidney damage, trigger heart problems, or lead to complications that affect your health permanently. Number 6. E. coli contamination in own brand hummus. In September 2024, Sainsbury's recalled 2 of their own brand hummus products because of potential E. coli contamination. We're talking about Steck, Shiga toxin-producing E. coli, one of the most dangerous strains of bacteria that causes severe illness. Steck causes bloody diarrhea, severe abdominal pain, vomiting, and in serious cases, hemolytic uremic syndrome, a life-threatening condition that results in kidney failure, particularly in young children and seniors. According to UK Health Security Agency data, England recorded 2,544 cases of Steck infection in 2024, a 26% increase from the previous year, suggesting growing problems with food safety across the supply chain. The recalled hummus products were Sainsbury's Hummus 200-gram packs and Sainsbury's Reduced Fat Hummus 200-gram packs, both with specific use-by dates. These products were sold throughout Sainsbury's stores across the UK. Point-of-sale notices went up explaining the recall and advising customers not to eat the products. But again, how many customers had already bought and eaten the hummus before the recall was announced and notices were posted? Hummus is a ready-to-eat product. You're not cooking it. You're spreading it on sandwiches, using it as a dip for vegetables, eating it with crackers, and consuming it straight from the container. If E. coli is present, you're ingesting it directly with no heat treatment to kill the bacteria. There's no safety step between purchase and consumption where the contamination gets eliminated. For seniors, E. coli infection is particularly dangerous because it can rapidly progress to kidney damage and kidney failure. Your kidneys are already working less efficiently than they used to. Your filtration capacity decreases with age. Adding a bacterial infection that specifically attacks kidney function with toxins that destroy red blood cells and clog the tiny filters in your kidneys could push you into acute kidney failure, requiring emergency dialysis or causing permanent kidney damage, which means you need dialysis for the rest of your life. The UK Health Security Agency advises strict hygiene measures to prevent Steck spread, thorough hand washing after toilet use and before eating, keeping preparation areas scrupulously clean, cooking food thoroughly, and serving food at correct temperatures. But those measures don't help you if the food you bought is already contaminated before you even open the package. You're trusting Sainsbury's to sell you safe products that won't make you seriously ill, and they're failing that basic responsibility repeatedly. If you're still watching, you clearly care about where your money's going, and that's exactly why I make videos like this. So before we get into the next reason, do me one quick favor. Tap subscribe. It tells YouTube this kind of information matters. And honestly, if you've ever felt ripped off by a supermarket, you're going to want to see what I uncovered next. Number 5. Allergen labeling failures on multiple products. Sainsbury's has a documented pattern of allergen labeling failures that could kill people with severe allergies. In October 2024, they recalled their own brand onion rings 200-gram packs because they contained milk, soya, and wheat gluten that weren't mentioned anywhere on the label. If you have celiac disease and you eat wheat or gluten, your immune system attacks your small intestine, damaging the villi that absorb nutrients, leading to malnutrition, osteoporosis, infertility, neurological problems, and increased cancer risk. If you're allergic to milk or soya and you consume those proteins, you could experience symptoms ranging from hives and digestive distress to full anaphylactic shock, where your blood pressure drops, your airways constrict, and you die without immediate emergency treatment. These aren't minor oversights or trivial mistakes. These are potentially fatal labeling errors that put customers' lives at risk every time someone with allergies trusts the label and eats the product. In June 2024, Sainsbury's recalled Taste the Difference C, salt and Suffolk cider vinegar, hand-cooked crisps 150-gram packs because they contained undeclared milk. Different product, different category, same fundamental problem. Allergen present in the product, not disclosed on the label, puts people with milk allergies at serious risk if they consume it. These repeated failures across different product lines show systemic problems in Sainsbury's quality control processes and supplier oversight. How are products making it through development, manufacturing, and distribution to store shelves without proper allergen labeling? Where's the oversight at each stage? Where are the multiple checks that should catch these errors before products reach customers who depend on accurate labels to stay alive? The Food Standards Agency advised Sainsbury's to contact relevant allergy support organisations like Celiac UK and Allergy UK to warn their members about the recalls. But what about customers who aren't members of those organisations? What about people who don't regularly check FSA websites? What about elderly people who aren't online and don't see social media warnings? What about children buying school lunch who grab a packet of crisps, assuming they're safe based on what the label says or doesn't say? For seniors with newly developed food intolerances, which become increasingly common with age as your digestive system and immune system change, these labeling failures are absolutely terrifying. Maybe you recently became lactose intolerant after decades of drinking milk with no problems. Maybe you developed a wheat sensitivity that makes you feel ill for days if you consume gluten. You carefully read labels to avoid trigger foods because you know the consequences of eating them. But if labels are wrong, if allergens aren't disclosed, if the information you're basing your food choices on is inaccurate, you have absolutely no way to protect yourself from harm. And Sainsbury's response every single time is, "We apologise for any inconvenience caused." Inconvenience. They're talking about potentially killing people with allergies, about sending people to hospital emergency rooms, about causing severe suffering, like it's a minor inconvenience on par with a checkout queue being too long. That choice of language tells you how seriously they actually take customer safety and how much they actually value the lives of vulnerable people who shop in their stores. Number 4. You're still paying more than competitors, even with Nectar. Even when you factor in all the Nectar discounts and supposed savings, Sainsbury's is still measurably more expensive than shopping at Tesco with Clubcard, or switching to Aldi or Lidl entirely. The grocer analysed prices using Associa data across thousands of products and found that Clubcard offered an average saving of 25.7% compared to Nectar's 24.6%. Tesco's Clubcard saves you more money than Nectar does, even before you consider that Tesco's starting prices are often lower than Sainsbury's. And when Clubcard and Nectar go head-to-head on the exact same products where both schemes offer discounts, Tesco wins decisively. Out of over 900 products where both loyalty schemes offered promotional pricing, Clubcard was the cheapest on 317 items. Sainsbury's beat Tesco by only 146, less than half as many. So you're getting worse discounts from a more expensive starting point. It's a lose-lose for Sainsbury's customers. You're paying more to begin with, getting smaller discounts, and ending up with a higher final price than if you'd just shopped at Tesco or ignored loyalty schemes entirely and gone to Aldi. The only advantage Sainsbury's has in the data is that Nectar products start at a lower average price point, £3.88 for Nectar items versus £4.04 for Club Card items. But that's only because Sainsbury's focuses their Nectar discounts primarily on cheaper, lower value items, while Tesco includes more premium products in Club Card pricing. It's not a real advantage. It just means Tesco's loyalty scheme offers better deals on higher quality products, while Sainsbury's concentrates on making cheap products look discounted. For seniors trying to make smart, informed shopping decisions with limited budgets, this is crucial information that Sainsbury's hopes you'll never discover. You might think you're being clever by using your Nectar card diligently and collecting points. You might feel like you're beating the system by waiting for Nectar price deals, but you're still dramatically overpaying compared to Tesco, and you're catastrophically overpaying compared to Aldi and Lidl, which found that even with Nectar, Sainsbury's ranked 4th for value in comprehensive annual price tracking. Without Nectar, they dropped to 10th place out of 11 supermarkets surveyed. There is literally no scenario, no situation, no combination of factors where Sainsbury's represents good value for money unless you have absolutely no other shopping options available. Number 3. Sainsbury's own brand quality has declined significantly. Long-term Sainsbury's customers consistently report that own brand quality has noticeably and significantly declined over recent years. Products that used to be reliably good are now substandard. Ingredients have clearly changed. Everything tastes cheaper, more processed, more artificial, less like real food made with care. Take Sainsbury's own brand butter as a prime example. Customers who bought it faithfully for years say it doesn't taste the same anymore. The texture is different, more waxy, less creamy. It doesn't melt properly on hot toast the way real butter should. It seems like either the milk quality has declined or the processing has changed to cut costs, possibly by adding more water or milk powder or changing the churning process to increase yield at the expense of flavour and texture, or their ready meals, which used to be a category where Sainsbury's competed reasonably well with premium brands. Customer reviews consistently mention that they're bland now, severely under-seasoned, requiring significant additions of salt and pepper to be edible. The portions have noticeably shrunk while prices stayed the same or increased. The quality of meat is visibly lower, tougher, fattier, with more gristle. Vegetables are mushier, clearly older, or frozen and reheated rather than fresh. People who relied on Sainsbury's ready meals for years because they were living alone or couldn't cook due to mobility issues are actively switching to other brands, other supermarkets, or finding alternative meal solutions because the quality simply isn't acceptable anymore. When seniors who depend on convenience foods for daily nutrition are willing to go through the hassle of changing their routines, that tells you how bad the decline has been. Their bakery section faces similar widespread complaints. Bread goes stale faster, sometimes within a day of purchase. Cakes are drier, crumbly, taste more of preservatives and artificial flavouring than actual ingredients. Pastries have that chemical artificial taste that tells you they're made with cheap margarine instead of butter, with synthetic vanilla instead of real extract. It's abundantly clear they've reformulated products with cheaper ingredients and hoped customers wouldn't notice the difference or wouldn't care enough to leave. But customers are definitely noticing. And seniors especially notice because you've been buying the same products for decades. You remember exactly what Sainsbury's quality used to be like back when they positioned themselves as a premium British grocer. You can taste the difference immediately when corners get cut, when ingredients get swapped for cheaper alternatives, when quality control standards slip. Number 2. The Nectar scheme locks you into overpaying long term. Nectar prices aren't member rewards or loyalty benefits. They're a psychological trap that forces you to accept unconscionably high non-member prices or hand over your personal data and detailed shopping habits to Sainsbury's and their commercial partners who profit from that information. Without Nectar, Sainsbury's is genuinely unconscionably expensive, ranking as the second most expensive major supermarket in the UK. With Nectar, you're still overpaying significantly compared to competitors, but the prices become somewhat tolerable rather than completely outrageous. so you're effectively coerced into joining the scheme even if you have serious concerns about privacy and don't want to share your data. And make no mistake, Sainsbury's absolutely sells that data. They know everything you buy, precisely when you buy it, exactly how much you spend, what brands you prefer, what times of day you shop, whether you're price sensitive, what dietary restrictions you have. They build comprehensive profiles of your shopping behavior and purchasing patterns. They sell those insights to manufacturers who want to target advertising at specific customer segments. They sell to data brokers who aggregate information from multiple sources to create even more detailed profiles. Your information becomes a product they profit from while simultaneously overcharging you for basic groceries. Some vulnerable people can't even join Nectar if they wanted to. The scheme has age restrictions that discriminate against young people. It has address requirements that exclude people in temporary accommodation or complex living situations. It has digital registration components that elderly people without smartphones or reliable internet access struggle to navigate. These vulnerable groups are forced to pay dramatically inflated non-Nectar prices because they literally cannot access the scheme through no fault of their own. Sainsbury's is systematically discriminating against people who are already marginalized, charging them extra simply because they don't fit the demographic profile Sainsbury's wants in their loyalty database. Number 1. Sainsbury's prioritizes profits over customer safety and welfare. Everything we've covered throughout this video ties together into one fundamental, inescapable truth. Sainsbury's cares more about maximizing profit than about you as a human being who needs safe, affordable food. They deliberately inflate prices and create fake discounts to manipulate you into thinking you're saving money when you're actually overpaying. They repeatedly fail to properly label allergens, putting customers with life-threatening allergies at genuine risk of death. They sell food contaminated with dangerous bacteria like Salmonella and E. coli because quality control isn't catching problems before products reach shelves. They systematically overcharge for reduced items because staff don't properly mark them and management doesn't care enough to fix systemic problems even when repeatedly informed. They're majority owned by Qatar Investment Authority, a sovereign wealth fund that bought a controlling stake in Sainsbury's through complex corporate structures. Foreign investors have been extracting value while letting quality decline precipitously and allowing prices to increase far beyond inflation. Sainsbury's posted an operating profit of over £600 million in their most recent financial year. £600 million. They're making absolutely enormous profits while selling you contaminated food, deliberately misleading you about prices and charging vulnerable seniors significantly more than anyone else pays. That £600 million in profit came from somewhere. It came directly from your wallet, from every inflated price, every manipulative fake discount, every reduced item that's scanned at full price while you weren't watching carefully, every product you bought at Sainsbury's instead of shopping somewhere dramatically cheaper. For seniors who've been loyal Sainsbury's customers for decades, this should feel like a profound betrayal. You shopped there when they were a respected British institution known for quality. You trusted their products. You believed their pricing was fundamentally fair, but they've changed entirely. They're not remotely the company you remember from 20 or 30 years ago. I'm not saying don't ever shop at Sainsbury's again, but I am saying you need to be way more aware of what's happening and make informed choices about where your money goes. £615 per year is too much to waste on loyalty to a company that doesn't value you. Multiple food safety failures are too many to ignore. Fake discounts and manipulative pricing are too unethical to support. So don't let Sainsbury's take advantage of either. If this video made you think twice about shopping there, share it with friends who need this information. Drop a comment about your Sainsbury's experiences and hit subscribe for more videos exposing what's really happening at UK supermarkets.